There are several ways to receive and put away items in basic warehousing and Business Central. And the first one that I would like to show is through the inventory put away. Now I will do this by creating a new purchase order, and I will order some items from vendor 40,000. Now I've set up vendor 40,000 with location north, which makes it easy for me in these examples because this location is set up with bin mandatory and with the require put away and require pick. Okay, so first of all, I will order item 1908S. So location north, and notice that the bin code also shows. Now this could be because the item is already put away on that bin, or because this bin is the default bin for this item. Also in the purchase order, you can see the bin if you want. So let's order 100 units. And then let's go to a second line. And here, let's use the Amsterdam lamp. In this case, there's no bin code displayed, which means that the item doesn't have a fixed or a default bin, or that the item isn't already available on a bin in the warehouse. In this case, let's use 280 units. All right, so a standard purchase order, but with the bin displayed, as you can see here. Now, and also in the setup where you use inventory putaways and inventory picks, so the documents that you can use to process your receipts, shipments, picks, and putaways. So even with this setup, you can still receive items from the purchase order. So that's very interesting to know. If this is a very simple receipt, I don't even have the requirement to create an inventory put away. I could just click on posting and then receipt and post the receipt. But that's something I will not do here. So I would like you to see how an inventory put away works, because I think it's a very interesting document. So this means that now I'm the order processor. I've created the purchase order, send it to the vendor, and that's my task. So my job is done now. So now it's up to my colleagues in the warehouse. So we're working decentralized. So we're dividing the whole process into different roles. So this means that as an order processor, for me now it's very important to release the order. So by clicking on show more, you can see here that the status is open. And to make orders available in the warehouse application area, you should release them. So as long as they stay open, they're not available to use in warehouse documents. So very important now, the release function. So I will click on release and then once more release. So now the purchase order is released and I can now go ahead and use it in warehouse documents. Now in this case, the warehouse document is the inventory put away that I will use to receive and put away items at the same time. And you can create the put away from the purchase order. So by clicking on more options, actions, warehouse, I could create the inventory put away directly from the order. But you can also create it from the warehouse document itself. So, and let's check that option. So I will search for inventory put away. So there we go. So the inventory put away. And I will create a new one. And the inventory put away is a document that we can use to receive one order at a time. And by the way, before you can create these inventory putaways, you first might have to set up number series in the inventory setup. Let me quickly show you. So if you go to the inventory setup, and if you click here on show more on the numbering fast tab, you can see that you can configure here the number series for the inventory put away, the posted inventory put away, the inventory picks, and so on. So that's of course something that you first must do before you can assign numbers here. Okay, so like I just said, the inventory put away is a document that we can use to put away to receive and put away items order by order, and that's why you can see here the source document and the source number on the header, so one order at a time. Now you can enter these manually, so I can select here purchase order, because as a warehouse worker I know that we should receive and put away a purchase order. Next I can click on the source number, and then you can see the released purchase orders for the north location. So currently there is only one, so the one that I just created. So now I can click on OK, and you can see now that the lines are inserted here on the inventory put away. You see, very important, your warehouse documents are always created based on existing source documents, in this case a purchase order. Now if you click on process, you can also run the function get source documents, but that basically does the same, and so that will result in exactly the same. Okay, so here we now have the two items, so the London swivel chair, which already has a bin code, but of course you can go ahead and change this if you want. And then the Amsterdam lamp, which requires a bin code. Okay. Now, because now we have a separate warehouse document, we also have more flexibility to process some of the warehouse tasks that companies need. So for example, if the user didn't put away all these lamps on one bin, then we can use the split bin function. So let me show you. I will enter a bin code. So and let's take bin number 2. But on bin number 2, we could only put away 80 units, and we had to put away the other 200 units on another bin. So now I can go to more options, functions, split line. So and basically on the based on the remaining quantity, you can see that the program now creates a new line where I can select another bin. So I could select, for example, bin number 10. On which I put away the other 200 lamps. You see, so a very simple split line function, but that could be very important for users and companies to use, because that will allow them to put away the same item on different bins, as you can see here. So let me enter also the quantity to handle for the first line. So 100, there we go. So and now I'm ready to post the document. So and again, remember, posting the document here will post the receipt and the put away at the same time. So let me do this. I will click on posting, then post. I will only receive, so I will not post the invoice. Next, I will click on OK. And then you can see everything is posted. So let's quickly check the purchase order again. So I will go to purchase orders. And this is the one that I just created. And of course, by posting the inventory put away, you will see that the purchase order is also updated. So here you can see the two items. If I scroll to the right, you can now see that the quantity received is entered at 100 and 280. So let's maybe quickly check the posted receipt and navigate on the document. So I will click on receipt and then navigate. So in here you can see that besides item ledger entries and value entries, the program also created warehouse entries. So once that the bin is mandatory, Business Central will also create warehouse entries so that you can also see on which bins which entry types are posted. Furthermore, if you use bins, you can also check the bin content now. So, and that's of course very interesting. Let me go to an item. And let's take the Amsterdam lamp, so item 1928S. Next, I will click on Navigate, Warehouse, and I will open the bin content. Now, the bin content shows where the item is located in the warehouse. You see, so now we have the item on two different locations or two different bins. So number 2, 80 units, and then number 10, 200 units. If you're using bins for multiple locations and you also have the Amsterdam lamp in another location, you can see everything in the same overview. But currently we only have it in the north location. So that's also very useful because that's the way users can easily find where items are located in the warehouse, so by checking the item bin contents.